Hey, lighting. Have you heard?
Oh, hell no!
No.
The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck. 'Cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel and the ones that run on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Whoa, whoa.
It's the Truck Show with your hosts, Lightning and Holman.
This episode of the Truck Show podcast, Have You Heard? Is proudly presented by Nissan. With the Frontier, Titan, and Titan XD, Nissan has a truck for every need, along with the legendary Nissan durability. Test drive your next truck at a local Nissan dealer today, or point your browser to nissanusa.com, where you can use the build and price tool to configure a Nissan truck that fits your lifestyle.
And when you're thinking about adding power or improving fuel economy, Banks has over 65 years of experience. Whether it's cold air intakes or exhaust systems, tuning, throttle control, charge air cooling, lubrication components, and much more, no one offers smarter, safer, 50-state emissions-compliant performance parts than Gale Banks. You'll find the best engineered parts for your truck at bankspower.com.
And when you're looking for quality, full synthetic lubrication for your truck, AMSOIL has you covered with motor oil, lubricants and protectants, grease, additives, and more. AMSOIL synthetic lubricants deliver wear protection, engine cleanliness, and fuel efficiency that conventional oils simply can't match. Find out how AMSOIL synthetic lubricants can save you money and time by helping your vehicles run better and last longer than with conventional oils at AMSOIL.com. When it comes to lubrication, AMSOIL is the leader in synthetics. Hey, Lighting, have you heard?
No, I haven't.
I'm actually sad about this news. When I read it, I was like, whoa. Dodge and Ram CEO Tim Kuniskis is retiring on June 1st after an impressive 32-year run at Chrysler. And the reason for that no is...
He's the Hellcat guy.
He's the Hellcat everything guy, and he's the guy that did Roadkill Nights and supported that, and he's the guy that put the 392 in Wranglers. And now that electrification is on the way, what does that mean for the brand? Yeah. With all these crazy retirements,
it's going green, people. It's going green.
It's not looking like it's not the same people that have put everything into those brands for the past 10 or 15 years. There's new people coming. So the person replacing him is Chrysler's current CEO, Christine. I guess it's Feuell. It's Feuell. I don't know her, but she's going to be leading the Ram brand.
It's fuel.
It could be fuel. I mean, it could be great.
Say it's fuel. Fuel. It's a sign, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sign.
Matt McAller will replace Kuniskis as the Dodge brand CEO, and then he'll also join the top executive team. He's in his previous role. He led Dodge's sales operation and then has experience in automotive, medical, and digital industries. So definitely not a Chrysler lifer.
No.
Yeah. So and then
Kuniskis, why can't he just work till he dies?
Well, here's the part that was I hated hearing this quote. So you know when an executive leaves, if they were forced out, there's a really specific way they write it. And if it was somebody who retired on their own, it's like really glowing, like, oh, we can't believe we had so much success. We won together with Tim and da-da-da. I don't know if he was forced out or not, but let me read you the quote that they said, and then you decide.
You son of a You're fired! What? You're fired!
I am done with you. Do you hear me? Done. Get out of here now. You're fired.
That's not the quote.
I want to take the opportunity to warmly thank Tim for his passion, commitment, and contributions to Stellantis and in defining the vision of the future electrified Ram and Dodge brands. I wish him well in his retirement.
Oh, this is already like starting, like they're backpedaling from the first word.
I am confident that Chris will continue the work of Tim in leading the iconic Ram brand. Matt will bring fresh perspective while continuing to draw on the heritage of our iconic Dodge brand and leading the transition of brands toward a sustainable future, unquote. That was from Carlos Tavares, who runs that whole deal.
So what I'm hearing is they said, you know what? Kniskus is too synonymous with our big gas-guzzling engines, and his face is all over.
Listen,
all over
the
the
Ram
TV,
RHO
like
stuff.
everything.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I wasn't expecting this. And then he was going to come on the show, and then we just couldn't sync up. And so now I'm like, that opportunity gone, and that would have been great. And anyway, Tim, we wish you the best, and I'll never forget when I was in your office in Auburn Hills. Did I ever tell you that Tim liked to test me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if I said that on the show, but
yeah, it was on the show.
Tim gave me a bunch of like fake information to see if I would go burn him, and
you didn't,
and I didn't. And
you won his favor.
When I won his favor, he pulled me aside out of a meeting and said, "Hey, come into my office." And we sat down. He showed me the 392, which was codenamed J9. And at that point, I knew I was in the circle, and it was a great meeting, and just a rad dude. And I'm sorry he's gonna go.
A moment of silence for Mr. Timothy Kniskus.
No, he's not dead. He's just retired.
Stop it. A moment of silence for the V8.
He doesn't want a moment of silence. He wants some rowdy V8 noise. That's what he wants. He wants a celebratory revving of your TRX. So why don't you make that noise happen?
Yes, how does that sound?
There you go. Hey, Lighting, have you heard?
No, and I don't care.
No, I have not heard.
The internet's been alive with the Maverick ST being spied.
Really?
So the 2025 Ford Maverick gets a front-end freshening, and on the head-on photos, not only can you see a big old intercooler behind the grille,
really?
But it looks a little bit lower, and it looks like it's sporting a set of 20s, kind of like an old rotiform wheel.
Interesting. So what you're saying with a big old intercooler means the turb skis may have gotten larger.
I hope so. So I'm going to put it up on the screen here, and you can.
You know what? I take back that word. I just said turb skis.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say that again. That was a one-time deal. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, I would be.
Turbochargers.
Look on the screen.
Here we go. Oh, there's no question about that. That's a heat exchanger. Mm-hmm. That's an Oh, yeah, wow. Look at that is a street rig. Wow, all color matched. So you've got the headlights are reminiscent of the F-150, but smaller, and you've got a body color piece. How do we describe
It's freshened.
that?
It has a new fascia. It's freshened. It's all body color, but what I wanted you to see were the wheels. Well, I think the front end's way cleaner than the current truck. That's one of the only things I don't like about the Maverick is I think the front end's ugly. And this is definitely way cleaned up. I like the body color. It's in that ST blue. And then somebody online one of the influencers was like, "Oh, is it electric or is it gas?" And you're like, "Dude, it's got a giant intercooler in it."
No way. Did they really?
Yeah, and it's ST blue. Like, come on. This is Ford trolling the universe.
So this on bags on the ground
would be pretty
look
sick.
So cool.
But these things already run $42,000 topped out. Dude, that's insane.
And remember when they started
$19,000,
Yeah.
and now I think the entry is like 25 or 26 or something. So this is, I believe, the Mavericks are actually outselling the Rangers and the F-150s. It's like
they look good.
Crazy.
That's a great looking little mini truck.
I mean,
I guess it's not really a mini truck, is it? Well, it's
not in
the
the traditional
closest thing we
sense.
have to a mini truck.
It's a mini truck by today's standards.
Right.
So I just pulled up this note here. So the Ford Maverick in April of this year sold 12,077, while the Ford F-150 Lightning only sold 2,090, and the Ranger only sold 4,327. So if that tells you the popularity of the Maverick, and even the Ford Transit,
I'm saying that's not good for the Ranger.
Well, it just got redesigned. So this, I'm sure they're just hitting dealerships now. The Ford Transit, 12,412. Of course, they're being supported by fleet. So really only less than 400 more than what the Maverick sold. And then the Maverick's nearest competitor is the Hyundai Santa Cruz, 2956. So it's absolutely slaying its Korean counterpart. So anyway, just kind of interesting.
That ST is going to do well. That's a good move on Ford's part.
I think there's more sport trucks coming, but I'll leave it at that. Okay. Hey, Lighting, have you heard?
No.
So what's interesting is our man Caleb Jacobs over at The Drive just did a deep dive into the twin-turbo V6 that is in the Tundra and the GX that replaced the Toyota V8s. And they're talking about reliability because in the forums, there's been a number of them that have had a main bearing failure. And so he goes into the construction and how, Toyota has lived its life on unstressed engines that were over square, so more bore than stroke, but how the V35A FTS is an undersquare engine with 100 millimeter stroke and an 86 millimeter bore. Basically, they do this chart where the old 4.7 liter V8, the 2UZ FE, had 56 horsepower per liter and 68.7 horsepower per liter, while the 1UR FE 4.6 liter V8, which is the newer one, was up to 65.4 horsepower per liter and 71.5 on torque per liter. And then if you compare those V8s to the V6, it's kind of right in line with those. The 1GR FE, the venerable 4 liter that's in the 4Runner, 67.5 horsepower per liter and 69.5 torque, pound-feet per liter. But check this out. When you go to the V35A FTS, it goes all the way up to 102 horsepower per liter and 140.9 pound-feet per liter, which is like massively changed.
But that's what you get with turbos. Like that's the whole point.
Well, but read the story. Go to the drive. Check out Caleb's story. The comment was, yes, we get that there's a turbo. We get that you have more power. But with it being under square versus over square and now being more stressed than what Toyota owners have ever had before, especially in the truck side of things, is that going to be a reliability concern long term? And it's at least a very interesting conversation.
It's certainly more complex, that's for sure. I will tell you from personal experience that they're a little more temperamental. They're not going to like upgrades much at first until we figure them out. We are doing some stuff at Banks with both the Tundra and the Tacoma, the 24 Tacoma. Although we don't have any parts out yet, we've been looking at some competitors' parts for the Tundra specifically. And a friend of mine installed a competitor's intake system on his Tundra, hybrid, right? The TRD Pro. And it didn't like it. And when I say it didn't like it, Holman, the truck, I've never seen this before. The truck wouldn't run. It straight up wouldn't run. It thought that the PCV hoses were disconnected. It would start and go, brr, 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 brr. Start it again, brr, 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 brr. Over and over again until we pulled the intake system off. And it was installed perfectly. It was installed as it should be. It just didn't like the extra
the
airflow.
problem is there's so many sensors. Any change is very, very sensitive.
It did not like a free-flowing intake system.
Right. Because most vehicles today are designed to the nth degree and have all the efficiency wrung out. You may be able to get a little more fuel economy, you may be able to get a little more performance, but they're pretty darn good. Hey, Lighting, did you hear?
No.
No.
A couple of episodes ago, I was complaining about people doing stupid things. Well, it turns out the person who damaged the 113-year-old historic salt tram tower in Death Valley actually did the right thing and contacted the National Park Service and accepted responsibility for their actions.
No way.
There was a guy who had webcam of the dude stuck out there. He went out there to help. They determined that the guy that drove out there to help him was after, I guess, the salt tram tower went over, and he didn't do anything wrong. He was trying to help this guy. But it says that basically after putting out the call for those with information to being urged to contact NPS, that several days later they announced that the person responsible came forward via its tip line, and the quote was, "We're grateful to the dozens of people who reached out to the park with information for all the statements of support that we received from people who care about this place and the cultural resources," said Acting Superintendent Elizabeth Ibanez. "Although we would certainly prefer this damage hadn't happened, we are glad the person who did this ultimately took responsibility for their actions and came forward." The NPS did not identify who was responsible, but they did say the circumstances surrounding the incident, the driver was mired deep in the mud, and he winched to the tower out of desperation. Didn't mean any harm, but of course it shouldn't have been where he was. They're still assessing the damage. Apparently, a ton of people have come and said, we will fix it. And MPS said no, because they want to figure out, or in the process currently of assessing the damage and determining what restoration will be needed, and ask that no visitors attempt to repair it because they want to do it. It's an archaeological artifact. They want to do it the correct way. They don't want to just dig holes and sit it upright and go, it's done. They want to do everything they can.
Put a bunch of 2x4s and screws through it, and it's like, it's done.
Exactly. So it's a lot of times we'll do a rant and there may be a change or an update. We don't go back. So I thought it'd be important to tell people good on the off-roaders and good on the person who ultimately came forward. And I get that it was, desperation and an accident, but let's be smart out there, people. Let's be smart out there. Lighting, have you heard?
No!
No, I don't think so.
Apparently, a Ram HD with hydrogen fuel is coming to the U.S. market.
What?
So it sounds like that...
Wait a minute. We know that Cummins has been working on hydrogen for quite some time.
So has Stellantis, and they, according to German outlet Welt am Sonntag, and then via Ward's Auto, they wrote that Stellantis has commenced manufacturing of a hydrogen fuel cell Ram 5500 in Poland, where the truck is said to be in low-volume production, but it will also be built at the Mexico factory for sale in the United States. The 5500 sold as a chassis cab, and they want to sell as many as 100,000 of the hydrogen trucks a year, by which point they intend for 40% of the commercial vehicle lineup to be emissions-free in Europe. So interesting. I wasn't aware that you could get a truck that big in Europe. But apparently you can. All right, I've got this great story, but first I must ask you, did you hear?
No!
How about a $1,400 kit that turns your old Bronco 2 into a new Bronco?
For $1,400? I don't even understand what that... Whoa. What the heck? I'm seeing that on the screen. It doesn't look... Well,
it doesn't look bad.
Well,
it's basically a new Bronco grill and hood
just a
on
grill
a Bronco 2.
But what is the...
It's a Bronco 2.
Well, that bumper is absurd and ugly.
It's not the bumper,
It's not
dude.
the bumper, but it's the grill and the headlights.
Stay on the trail here, Lightning.
No, I got it. But what other than the grill and the headlights? What is it?
It's $1,400. It's going to be the grill and the headlights.
Oh, that's it.
And the hood, and probably the fenders. I think it looks rad.
Yeah. What are the other things? The sights, the gun sights on top of the hood.
Yeah, just like the regular Bronco.
Yeah. Well, that's stupid. It's stupid.
Then you tell Caleb Jacobs. He wrote the story.
I'm not. Hold on a second. It's not
Caleb Jacobs. Why don't you give Lightning a ring? He thinks you're stupid.
No, I did not say that. You know I didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say the writer of the story is stupid. I say the
No, you
the
did,
thing he
because
wrote
this was his passion. His life's work went into this story, and you just crapped all over it.
He did. He does like 10 stories a day.
Well, and you think that
he's got a high output.
Yeah. Well, you think that any one of those stories is like not one of his kids?
They're not.
You have two kids. What if I called one of them ugly?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. Noted. Hey, Lightning, did you hear?
No, I didn't hear.
So apparently Motor Trend did their best to pick apart the Tesla video where they launched the Cybertruck and then told everybody that a Cybertruck towing a Porsche could outdrag 911 not towing anything. And so,
Wait, whoa. Stop for a second. So engineering explained when, and Chris Fremsky, I think is his name, explained that it was bogus. The Tesla couldn't actually beat a Porsche 911 pulling a 911. So you're saying that Motor Trend is so in love with Tesla that they're going to try to show that it is possible?
The video is up on their website. Go to Motor Trend, check it out. Or you go to motor1.com where Anthony Alanis picked apart the video. And it was actually pretty cool. So Motor Trend took a educated guess as to what the proper Porsche for the trailer would be. They tried to match it as much as they could. And each one of these drags, the Porsche won. The first race was the closest with only 0.2 seconds separating them. Then 0.7 second gap by the final race when the 911 did a 12.2 at 116.4, which was its best. It took the Cybertruck 12.9 at 104.6, which is a crazy number for a production vehicle anyway. And the best quarter mile time towing was 12.7 seconds for the Tesla. So the video that Tesla originally showed was like scrutinized by all of these internet sleuths, right? And they're like, wait a minute. This was an 1/8 mile race. This wasn't a 1/4 mile race.
Yeah.
Right? So on the 1/8 mile, the Cybertruck reached the mark first in 8.1 seconds, where the 911 was at 8.2 seconds. But it wasn't MT's quickest run with the Porsche. That was the last race where the 911 did 7.9 seconds to the Cybertruck's 8.3. So it's pretty damn close. I'm sure Elon took a flyer on it and went, it's within a couple tenths. We'll do it.
So
anyway,
I don't.
You gotta go watch the video.
I get that, it's good, but like, why are they doing this now?
Because they probably just got a Cybertruck now. So, Tesla doesn't have a PR department.
No.
They had to get a private truck to do this.
No, I get that, but like, why is Motor Trend doing that? People debunked it and shot these videos like months ago when this was news.
I have not seen a recreation with the exact
I'm not
same
saying
thing.
it's not a recreation. I haven't seen that either. What I'm saying is, but people have gone through and debunked the video so many different ways.
Well, it's one thing to debunk it in theory. It's another thing to put resources behind it and match the same trailer with the same model of Porsche versus the same model of Porsche.
Okay.
So they actually did it in the real world.
And
so I think that's more valuable.
So that's Chris Fremsky right there from Engineering Explained on the right-hand side on the thumbnail. Is he part of this video?
Why don't you go watch it?
I'm going to have to. You got my curiosity
Oh,
up.
there you go. That's the whole point of this exercise.
What is Chris doing on a Motor Trend video? Interesting.
Hey, lighting. Did you hear?
No.
So the little Ram Rampage that you like,
Yep.
they have a dark package now. All blacked out. Black on black on black, just the way you like it.
Did you call it a dark package?
That's what they're calling it.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying, I saw that and it had blacked out everything, and I'm like, that's your style.
I need a t-shirt that says dark package.
Jesus. Lighting, pay attention to the screen with the
I'm
truck on it.
seeing that.
Stay focused here.
I don't like that truck with that stance. That it looks ridiculous.
That's the same truck that you liked before.
No, it was lowered.
No, it wasn't.
That stance is
That's
dumb.
what they look like.
It looks like it's on helium or something. It's floating. There's a
Look, it
foot
still
and a half
has the
between
taillights you
tires
like.
and I love the American flag and the taillights. No, I do like it, and it's good. It could potentially be.
I hope everybody listening.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Stop.
No. You listen to me. You listen to me. Everybody listening, just when lightning just goes through a stream of consciousness and then
You're
goes
hearing
from
it.
one side. This is it. This is
Listen to
a
me.
daily conversation.
I like the truck, and I do not like the stance. The stance ruins it.
All right, well then go get different wheels. Lower it.
Yeah,
Can't do it anyway, it's from Brazil.
Then it looks much
It's not
better.
coming here.
Oh, well, if it's never coming here, then whatever. I don't like it.
Okay, fine.
I hate it.
All right, one more. Hey, lighting. Did you hear this last one?
What? No. What? No. What? No.
No.
BYD, known for buses and things like that, is a Chinese company, but they just released photos of their Shark truck that's going to be coming to Mexico, and there is rumors that it could possibly come here to the U.S., but it's supposed to be pretty darn pricey. It kind of looks like the Badger a little bit. I see some Badger in it.
Definitely does look like they ripped off the Ford Lightning front end and the lights from
the
Ford
Badger
Lightning.
greenhouse.
And the Badger definitely the greenhouse, and even the stripe along the midsection of the windows. And they stole the Ram bar in the back, which is ridiculous.
Because they stole your idea for rear window
I'm just
protection?
saying no. I'm just saying it doesn't fit this truck. But you're right, that is the Badger. It's so weird how they rip off. The Chinese are so good at ripping off all these other designs. Now, two questions.
Okay.
Is this the same company that the government is threatening to not allow to import those super inexpensive electric cars that are like $6,000?
I think that double tariff on all affects all Chinese. So,
but I thought they called out this BYD specifically because they've got a very, very inexpensive electric car.
well, this is not inexpensive.
No,
this will
I
not
know
be
this
inexpensive.
one isn't. Okay,
But
tell me more.
They're trying to go through Mexico for the loophole. But politics aside, I just thought it was interesting because it's actually on a body-on-frame chassis. Has a longitudinally mounted engine, so it's a turbocharged 1.5 liter. They don't say whether it's gas or diesel. And then it's got a double wishbone independent suspension at all 4 corners. And then the engine is only coupled to the front motor, and then there's a separate motor providing drive power to the rear. So it's kind of like a series hybrid, but then there's thought that there might be some way to have direct power to the front axle. Anyway, they say the front motor is 228 horsepower, the rear is 201. Combine those for 430 horsepower of total output, and estimated run to 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. And it sounds like there's a 29.6 kilowatt hour lithium ion phosphate battery. And so it'll be able to do, the all electric and all that kind of good stuff. So it looks pretty modern.
The interior looks, very contemporary.
But they're talking about converted into US dollars, the base price of $53,948. And it looks like it's maybe a little bit bigger than like a Ford Ranger or something like that.
That price is not that bad.
Yeah, I guess not for a plug-in hybrid. So anyway, if you are kind of curious about it, it's more of a novelty. It's not coming here yet that we know about, but I mean it's kind of a chunky, cool truck. It's interesting, like I said, body on frame with all independent suspension. So who knows?
Very interesting that the more I look at this on where's this Autoblog? The more that I look at this, it is the Badger. The different front end, but there's
a lot of Badger. It's not as elegant as the Badger. Definitely not
true.
as sophisticated. The surfacing and the design, but you can definitely see some Badger influence.
You know what I see in that as well? The greenhouse is Tundra a little bit too.
Yeah,
you see
there's
that?
a little bit Toyota. In there. So, I mean, typical of the Chinese manufacturers, let's take the best thing from all sorts of things and make our own thing.
Hey, Holman, have you heard?
No!
It's the end of the show.
Oh.
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis with production elements by DJ Omar Khan. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and give us a 5-star rating. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to show your support than by patronizing our sponsors.
All right, you leave me no choice. You giving me a raise? Not even close. You're fired.